So I want to talk about the subject of environmental toxicities, which include various hidden infections, because I think a lot of people are not aware of it very much. And these days, we've come to know that even a lot of the chronic diseases that previously were not linked to infections, such as various neurodegenerative conditions, are linked to hidden infections. So Can you speak a little bit to that?
Sure. Well, I see a lot of patients with multiple issues, but what I see a lot is chronic autoimmune conditions and also neurodegenerative conditions like Parkinson's and dementia. But going back to the autoimmune conditions, I see a lot of them having various triggers related to infections. For example, rheumatoid arthritis, usually it could be a bacterial trigger. MS could be also bacterial, viral, sometimes fungal as well. So when we see these cases, we just get our radar widened just to see if there are these hidden infections as, priming agents for the immune system to act in that way. And so that's kind of what we try to do when we first meet with patients is if they haven't had a appropriate diagnosis of their underlying issues, we help them to figure that out, because they may have their conventional diagnosis was just more of a description of their symptoms, but we got to figure out why. Because you can know what you got, but if you don't know why you got it, you can't really undo it that easily. So for us, we have to look back and see if there are various infection drivers and or their internal ecosystem, their environment, if that's also playing a role in immune suppression or immune dysregulation. And so then besides the infections, then you can go into the route of environmental toxins such as heavy metals, chemicals, pesticides, even mycotoxins, so mold toxins, and then other things like EMFs and emotional baggage too. Those are all things that tie in for why the immune system might be burdened, because you have so many insults coming from different angles.
So which are the patients that you actually test for hidden infections or environmental toxicities?
Pretty much everybody that comes to the door in various ways. So someone who comes in with like just a regular GI concern, obviously there's GI disruption, and that could be dysbiosis, so there could be wrong type of bacteria or pathogenic bacteria or parasites that are hiding in their gut that cause them to have their bloating or indigestion or constipation, stuff like that. So then somebody like that would have, or if you have chronic fatigue, there's usually something that's draining you. And sometimes we might want to rule out if there's a viral insult and or bacterial issue, and sometimes parasitic issue. But someone who's healthy, they may not exhibit any symptoms, but they could have, slightly off like white blood cells or high cholesterol even. Those things have some minor, impact on labs. And then, symptomatically just might have a little bit of brain fog, fatigue, or afternoon tiredness. Sometimes they might have some low grade infections too. I mean, it's hard to gauge from seeing somebody, but with our questionnaire that we ask patients, it usually gives us an idea that there's something to look for, because we're living organisms, and we're hosts to many, many different things. Some are synergistic, some are not. And if our immune system's working at the highest level, it should be able to defend us on a regular basis. But sometimes you can't avoid eating out or eating sushi, drinking water from nature. You get unwanted things coming in. So that they're there, and you're not actively trying to evict them, or your immune system hasn't evicted them, then they're gonna just hang out with you for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And so it starts manifesting itself, maybe not now, but maybe 5-10 years down the road, because the inflammation just starts ramping up and building up.